Hi. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the media, the news media. I began to notice how bias isn't a good word because it makes it seem like news outlets are slightly tinged with an editorial uh, inclination. It makes it sound like they're putting their finger on the scale a little bit when the truth is most most journalists are paid propagandists. It's not as if these people are incidentally liberal and it slightly colors their point of view. These people are paid propagandists for the most part. And I'm not just talking about reporters who write for avowedly liberal outlets. Everyone from the beat reporter to Metro News columnist to the editorial boards of papers like the New York Times or the Daily News, who can't even do what an editorialist should do, which is take the news and actually dissect it and examine it and give you their opinion on what's happening. And it's gotten to an almost absurd point. I'm thinking of a piece a piece that was posted that I came across on Facebook, where some online some liberal website interviewed Stephen Miller's third grade teacher. So they have this ongoing jihad. Mostly, it started out in places like the Jewish Daily Forward and liberal Jewish newspapers attacking Stephen Miller for having the temerity to not be an open borders fanatic while also being ethnically Jewish. And it's been picked up by more mainstream non-Jewish outlets, and they've kind of jumped on this jihad against Stephen Miller because they view him as some sort of Rasputin type Machiavellian figure within the the Trump White House. That's why they're mad, because it's not the Bush White House. That there actually are people who want to restore some semblance of normality to our immigration policy. And this infuriates them, particularly because they have this weird sort of idea that Judaism is synonymous with far left, open borders, political ideology, and that anyone who's Jewish needs to necessarily support this dogma. So they're interviewing a third grade teacher to tell to tell people that Stephen Miller ate paste or some absurd thing that the third graders did, because the third graders normally do, because you're in third grade, your brain isn't nearly fully developed. Anyway, it just illustrates how idiotic and the media is. I mean, why we shouldn't take anything these these people say seriously. It doesn't matter if they have a bachelor's degree in or a bachelor's degree in journalism, or they have these people are imbeciles. They're not only imbeciles, they're partisan imbeciles. And another illustration of this is the treatment of Gosnell, a new great film directed by Nick Searcy, one of the few conservative, one of the few non-leftist Hollywood stars. I think he was on Justified. I'm not too sure, but anyway, he's directing this new film, and this film has essentially been blackballed by the media. They haven't. They don't want you to see it because it shows you an abortionist who not only had a house of horrors, just uh, baby feet in formaldehyde lying around, and body parts of children who had been dismembered in utero in his house and all over his offices. And this was someone who no one cared to investigate, not the pro-abortion Republican governor Tom Ridge, not Planned Parenthood. Despite what they say, they were the ones that brought his horrific practice to attention. And this case got no coverage. There's even a scene in the film supposedly where they go to the press gallery where there should be tons of reporters. This is a very gripping story, regardless of what your position is on abortion. You should be interested in discovering more about this horrific case that was ignored by the relevant authorities. And the press gallery is empty, and no one covered this. And now to compound this, they're trying to ignore coverage of this phenomenal movie. NPR has essentially blackballed them from advertising. Now, this is a network that gets its funding from member stations, which are funded by taxpayers. It's the same network, remember, that banned commenting. So there's no viewer input, no pushback to NPR's down the line far left propaganda, even though we support it through our taxes. I honestly, I don't even know how that's legal, but that's the case. So these are just two examples of how our media is completely warped, and it's beyond repair. And the sooner these outlets, these media organs die out, whether it's through defunding, which I hope happens in my lifetime. We've been talking about defunding NPR and PBS, public broadcasting, for the entirety of my life. Or it's some Gawker like they do themselves in, like Gawker, and implode. I hope we can finally be rid of this just octopus that's strangling genuine news someday. Anyway, those are just my thoughts.